A useful film can offer a set of profound propositions and the opportunity for revelation and transformation that can only happen in the cinema, that is in useful, enduring cinema, that is useful even in 100 years. How can we use the machine of film to make something like that? Buñuel did it in Land Without Bread. Jean Vigo did it with Blood of the Beast. Artists do it. We can do it too in film. Once upon a time, Jill Godmilow conjured up the term post-realist for a certain kind of nonfiction film. Work or films that strategically pop the lid on traditional documentary. Post-realist films deconstruct all that cinema as we know it promises. How? They produce an implicit critique of traditional cinema representation systems and structures, and through that critique provide previously unimaginable, perhaps radicalizing experience. To make a film like this, one has to be some kind of artist in exile. One might have to sing a different kind of song than the documentaries that are on television. Perhaps a utopian song, not one full of dogma, but rather one that articulates energy and hope. There's a good reason for a film to say, at least quietly to its audience, we're not dead yet. We can still think for ourselves. There are hundreds of ways to do that in the cinema. Now, I did a lot of work on a collection, and of course there are exceptions, but the documentary film is characterized by an inherently contradictory idea of representing, in whatever way, something about the real, tangible world we live in. It says about itself that it is a document of the real world. The putative transparency of nonfiction film is still widely held. In other words, most people still think that if they saw it in a documentary, it's the truth. I will tell you something different. I will argue that the documentary is designed primarily for educated, liberal, middle-class audiences. The wealthy don't watch documentaries. The working poor and the very poor, and certainly the homeless, don't either. The middle-class audience, probably us, somewhat comfortable and semi-secure in its ready-made class position, needs reassurance that its relative wealth and security does not come at the expense of those weaker than ourselves. If maybe it does, the liberal middle class wants to know about it and to help the weaker ones, wherever they are in their plight. So the I'm going to use the word doc for documentary. The doc film offers opportunities for the middle class to feel informed, to learn a little bit about others and their difficulties, to experience a kind of momentary, compassionate, and caring citizenship, which may actually be in us or maybe not. We're invited into a construction of make-believe time and space with others who have been asked to tell their stories and or perform their social roles for us. For the length of the film, the documentary spectator is transfixed in this dream of caring. So I maintain that nothing of worth comes of this exercise, this documentary exercise. Only vague familiarity with something or someone outside ourselves, and meanings created by the form and the text of the film. As Martha Rosler pointed out decades ago, a film addressed to the liberal spectator has the effect of naturalizing the asymmetry between the audience and the disempowered victims. It naturalizes the asymmetry and sustains it. A truly useful film, my kind of film, is always a radical film in one way or another, sometimes softly, sometimes aggressively, but always a rewriting of personal, class, and national relationships. I think it's fair to say that we, the audience, is always the subject of a post-realist film. It's not about them. It's about us. I just showed a film by Haroon Farooqi about scientist at Dow Chemical who made napalm. The subject of the film is us, our relationship to our work. And I think it's true for all of the films that I call post-realist. A truly useful film is always a radical. I said that already, didn't I?